Well, if you're like me and you're cooking for two, but you don't like to make the same boring stuff all the time, you want to kind of just spice it up a little bit, I have the recipe for you, because not only is this recipe fun, it is beautiful, it tastes delicious, it has very few ingredients, and it's fairly quick to prepare, but the finished product looks like you have been slaving in the kitchen for a few hours. So this is a really good recipe. You definitely want to watch this video, and you probably want to go and download the recipe from my website. And you can do that by going to cookitfor2two.com. All my blog is there. You can subscribe to my blog. You can download all the recipes, read stories, and then also you can head on over to YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel. You can subscribe there and hit that bell, and all that's going to do is just let you know every time I have a new video that comes out, which I try to do weekly. And then also you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So there you go. All right, now that we've got all that behind us, oh, wait, let me say this. If you like this video, or if you see posts and stuff that you like, share them, comment on them, heart them, like them, do something, because all of those things just help me to build my business and also to let me know what you like. Okay, now back to the recipe. Let me tell you what it is. We are going to be fixing creamed chicken with fresh sugar snap peas. Oh my gosh, just listen to that. Now, don't panic if you're not a sugar snap pea lover. That's okay. You could do some green beans, you could do some asparagus. There's all different sorts of veggies that we could throw in there. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to get our chicken breast. Now, the recipe is going to call for a couple of chicken breasts. Well, the package that I had, it had 3 in it. So you know what? I'm just going to add a little bit more for my sauce and go ahead and use the 3 chicken breasts. You can do whatever you would like to do. But we're going to take our chicken, and I'm going to show you a little technique that you may have seen before. You may probably can do it better than I can, but in the recipe, what we need to do is we need to take our chicken breast and we need to make them thin, because I told you this is a quick recipe, so we want that chicken to cook really fast. And a way to do that, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes if you get chicken breast, especially if they're not organic, they're like this thick. We don't want the big thick chicken breast. So I'm going to show you a really quick way that you can just take and you can cut your chicken breast in half, because that's going to give you less cook time, and they're going to be really good. They're going to be good and moist. Now, two things, okay? You must have a very sharp knife. Second thing, you have to be very, very careful. And if you're not comfortable with knives, if you haven't used them a lot, you might not want to try this. But again, if you just take it really slow and you're very careful, I think you will be okay. But that is totally up to you. You can also pound out your chicken. If you're not comfortable with cutting it, you can just get a meat tenderizer and just pound on that chicken with some saran wrap over it until you get it the thickness that you would like. So the first thing we're going to do, I've already rinsed my chicken off and kind of patted it dry. So now I'm just going to take it off of the plate. And then, let's see, I'll just kind of stack this out of the way so that you can see this. What we're going to do is, all right, this chicken actually, it's not too bad, okay? You can see that thickness. It's not really that bad, but for the dish that we're making, we do want to thin that out a little bit. So this is what you're going to do. You just take a very sharp knife, and actually I sharpened this before I started the video. My husband got me this nifty little sharpener that is in my drawer that I can sharpen my knives whenever they need them. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand, keep your hand flat right on top of your chicken, okay? Fingers back, don't want fingers hanging over. Then you're going to take your chicken and just eyeball it. That's going to be about the middle right there of your chicken. So you're going to apply a little bit of pressure with your hand. You're going to take your knife, and you're just going to back and forth real easy, keeping pressure on your chicken You're just gonna slide your knife all the way to the back, and voila. That is awesome. Now, that is a good way. Let me go ahead and turn this burner on real quick so it can be heating up. That's a good way to split your chicken anytime you need to, you want it a little bit thinner so you can save on cooking time, or maybe you have more guests coming than you thought were coming. If you're having maybe a dinner party or family over or something, and you find out more people are coming and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know if this is going to be enough chicken. This is an awesome way to just, you know what? I'm taking these 3 pieces and I'm turning it into 6 really quick. So just a nice little trick to have. Again, very slow, sharp knife, and you can do it. I have faith in you. All right, so we got all that cut up. Now I'm gonna wash my hands really good, and because I need to season all this as I go. Got my hands all clean. All I'm gonna do with this seasoning tonight is gonna be pretty plain for me. If you watched me long, you know I like to add flavors. I love seasonings. But sometimes in some dishes, you just need salt, pepper, and garlic. And that's what we're going with tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle it on this side. And then I'm going to put it in the skillet. And then I'll sprinkle the other side once it's in the skillet. So we've got salt. Now, I'm going to put pepper. And you know what? If you're not a pepper fan, don't use pepper. Or if you think you want to spice yours up, then you use whatever seasonings that will suit you. Now, I've got just some regular garlic powder, okay? That's what I'm going to put on here. Now, what we want to do is we're going to put this in the skillet, and we want to get a light sear on it, kind of, a little bit more than a sear. I already put oil in my skillet. That's heated up. So I'm going to go ahead and take my chicken. We're going to put it down with the seasoned side in the skillet. Oh gosh, the instant that garlic hits that oil and that heat, woo, smells like perdue. Okay, I think we can get this last piece of chicken in there. Still has plenty of room to cook evenly. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and we are going to season this side. You want to make sure you get both sides of your meat good and seasoned. So we've got the salt. Now we're going in with the pepper. Oh, that garlic just smells so good. One of my favorite smells in the kitchen is garlic. Garlic and onions and butter. Woo! Okay, so we have that seasoned on both sides, and then what I wanted to point out to you was it's real easy to tell when your chicken or any meat that you're cooking, a hamburger patty, a steak, pork chop. Steaks might be a little bit different, but if you take your tongs or you take your spatula and you stick it underneath there, especially this is good with fish, and you put it under there and it's like, it won't go. And it's just kind of hard. Don't force it. That is your meat telling you that it's just not ready yet. When your meat is good and cooked on the bottom, it will release. And when it releases, then you can take your spatula, get it in there, or your tongs, and it'll just flip right over. So don't force it if your meat doesn't want to turn. Also, just look at your chicken as you're cooking or your meat. You'll see a change in the color. It'll start from the bottom and it kind of goes up and it gets a little white and then it goes into the pink and the opaque. So when your chicken is about halfway, a little more than half white from the bottom up, that's a good sign that it may be ready for you to turn it. And then it's going to finish cooking on that other side. So just a little something maybe you didn't know that will help you out with your cooking. The chicken is looking good. You can just tell by the color of it that I think it's about ready to turn. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to go in here. Oh yeah, see how easy that came up? That's what I love about making this chicken thin, because it cooks so much faster. And we don't want to let it cook too long, because we do not want this to be tough. We want it to stay moist and juicy. And it's going to cook a little bit more, because we're going to make a cream sauce, and once we put the sauce on there, the chicken, it'll probably cook a little bit longer, but not much. So we can go ahead and make sure that it's done before we take it up. But look at that. See that light golden brown on that? That is beautiful. Now, while that's finishing up, what I'm going to do is I have my skillet over here, and this skillet is really cool. It has a little basket in it that it's easy to steam, or just you can put your stuff in there, pull it out in the basket and drain it, and it makes it really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, because this stovetop only has one really hot burner. It takes it a little while to get hot. So I'm going to go ahead and put that. I've got my sugar snap peas here. They're so pretty and green. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put them in the water, and then I'm going to put the lid on this skillet, because what we want to do is we want this to come to a boil, and we want to get a good steam going in there. Your chicken is probably going to take you about, I would say, anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes per side, depending on the thickness. Okay, your veggies, that is going to be up to you. Most people like that crispness on their veggies. Kyle and I don't really. So for most people, you would probably let these steam for about 3 minutes maybe. But for us, I'm probably going to let them steam about 6 or 7 minutes, just because we like our veggies to be a little soft. So again, that's totally up to you. You fix them how you love them. Sugar snap peas are perfect. Now, this is the really neat thing about this pan. I'm going to take my handles from my basket. They're very hot, so you have to use some tongs. And I just raise this up. Give this a little shake to get all the excess water off there. And then, it's actually not that bad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put those down, okay? And then I'm just going to dump these into the bowl, because you want to season them really good. We're going to put a little bit of butter, just a little bit. And we're going to put I don't want to catch myself on fire. I got a candle going over here. We're going to put a little bit of butter. Not a lot. So we'll put a little bit of butter. Okay. And then I'm going to put some salt and pepper. Let's put a pretty good amount of salt in there. We like salt. If you're not a salt person, skip that part. Okay. Some pepper. And you could throw some garlic in there if you wanted to. I've already put mine up, so actually I'm just going to kind of go with this. But that would be really good to put you some fresh garlic in there. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to let this butter melt. I'm going to stir this around and just kind of let these sugar snap peas just kind of hang out right here. And I'll give them a good stir before I put them into our final dish. We're almost finished. I told you this was a really quick recipe. So what we're doing now is we're back at our skillet again. Now my skillet doesn't have very much oil in it, but if your skillet has a lot of excess oil, then you want to make sure and take that out. But you don't want to get rid of your nice brown bits that are in there, because all of that is just like gold nuggets. It is flavor, flavor, flavor. So I've got my skillet on low, and I have here about a cup of cream. I'm going to kind of pour it in here slowly, because it's been going for a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just turn it off, because my skillet is really hot. If you don't have a hot burner and a cast iron skillet, you might want to leave your heat on low. All right, so we've got that in there, and now once you put that liquid in there, it is going to help those little bits to release. So you want to take a spoon or a spatula or something, and you want to break those up so that you can get those nuggets into your sauce. All right, I'm turning my heat back on again, but I'm going to put it on low because you do want to let it cook just for a little bit. You want to let it thicken up just a little. So you kind of want to bring it almost to a slow boil, because that boil is what's going to cause it to thicken up. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to mine. Oh boy, it's already boiling. See, that skillet was hot. So it's already boiling. And I tell you what, we are going to throw in, sorry, I forgot about this, but anytime you're doing a cream, it is really great, bear with me, it is really great to throw in some nutmeg. Fresh nutmeg with cream is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead, put just a little bit of nutmeg in there. Okay, so when you've got that sauce boil going, you want to stir it because you don't want it to stick or burn, but you also want to give it just a minute, you know, kind of don't stir for just a little bit. Let it bubble up a little bit. You can see as it bubbles how it's thickening. Then you want to just give it a stir. And you can just do that for a few minutes. Remember that once you turn the heat off, and this sits for a minute, it will be a little bit thicker than how it looks right now. It's kind of like just making regular gravy, okay? So I think I'm getting mine. You don't want this sauce to be thick. So I'm gonna go ahead. I think this is really to the texture that I want it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn my heat off, okay? Turn my heat off. I'm gonna grab my chicken and I'm going to place my chicken. You know, it's all about the way we see things, right? So we want this to be really pretty because this is kind of like a one-pot meal, okay? A one-skillet meal. And so we want this to be really pretty. So we're going to arrange our chicken over here on one side of our skillet. Okay, make that all pretty. Kind of nestle it down into that sauce. You might even want to take a spoon, just kind of, just pour a little bit of that sauce over our chicken. Woo! I don't know about y'all, but my mouth is watering. So this just makes it a little bit easier to cut. So we're just gonna, very carefully, we're just gonna run our knife across, and it's just gonna be in like these long little spirals. And this is just really pretty. You can break it up a little bit. That's really pretty because we're going to use this to garnish the top of our dish when we get it all put together. Actually, I think I'm going to cut up just a little bit more. Okay, for me, because Kyle doesn't really dig citrus, I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of this zest in this sauce. I'm saving my zest and I will put it on my dish whenever I eat, but I can't do too much in this sauce because he won't like it. So I'm just saving the bulk of mine. But what you can do is, before you put your chicken in, put your lemon zest in there and go ahead and squeeze your lemon right in that sauce before you add your chicken in. I'm gonna have to do mine on my plate so that he will like it, which is fine. Okay, so now we have our chicken on one side. I seasoned these up again with the butter, the salt, and the pepper. And we're just gonna put these peas over here on this side. Oh my goodness. Doesn't this look like you took forever to make this? And it was so simple. We didn't even really have to dirty up a lot of dishes. Okay, so we have that on that side. And then, just because we want to be a little fancy, we are going to go ahead and we're going to nestle that lemon wedge right in there, because we want to let, we want to let our hubby know what all's going on in here. But look how beautiful that is. Final touch. Here we go. Fresh basil. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to kind of do the fresh basil right over here on the chicken, because it shows up really well on that chicken with that sauce. And that, my friends, is a masterpiece. Look at that. We're already done. And again, I just have to say this. Look how beautiful this dish is. And it was so simple, few ingredients, not much mess, and you don't have to have a cast iron skillet. You can do this in just a regular skillet if you don't have cast iron, or you might not like cast iron. Do it in a regular skillet. But here we go. So you know how we are. We're always hungry, so we're going to get ready to eat. But I do want to say thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope that you picked up something in this video that maybe you didn't know, a little tip or trick that you learned that's going to help you in your kitchen. And I encourage you, make this recipe. Lord bless you.